Over the past year, there have been 2 murders in South Boston connected with drug abuse, but the problem has many other symptoms, from other crimes to statistics from the Boston Public Health Commission. One response is to address the problem with an alliance of groups from the neighborhood. The groups already meet on a regular basis, and they've been working with public agencies such as the police and the probation department. To talk about the newest direction are 2 guests: the project coordinator for the Drug-Free Communities Project with the South Boston Collaborative Advisory Network, Doran, and the Coalition Coordinator for South Boston Hope and Recovery, Susanna Cooper. Thank you both very much for being with us.
Thank you.
I want to start with Doran. I guess you can say that almost every community has some kind of substance abuse problem. So what about the problem in South Boston? What's it like, and how bad is it?
Well, our problem is mostly opioids and heroin. My program tries to target the underage alcohol drinking, tobacco use, and marijuana to prevent heroin and opioid abuse later. Susanna's program targets the opioids and the heroin.
Talk about how people get into that problem, Susanna.
So I think, they kind of use this example of people that just, regular people, everyday people. They don't necessarily have to be substance users, from the get-go. They may get injured at work or something like that. They're prescribed some kind of opioid. OxyContin is pretty regularly prescribed from doctors. And then they get addicted because it's an addictive substance. And then they may turn, when they find that it's too expensive or their doctor won't keep refilling their prescription, they'll try to buy drugs on the street. And then heroin is the cheapest option after pills. So it's kind of this vicious cycle. And you can, again, just be a regular person. You don't necessarily have to be, what you think of as a substance abusing person.
And the people who get into substance abuse, we're not just talking about people who are from the most dysfunctional, the most disadvantaged families in the neighborhood either.
Right.
Why is that?
I don't know. I think there's from the substances that we target, there's alcohol is accepted, it's glamorized, it's normalized, and the abuse of that can easily happen. So I think it leads into other things. So if, it's okay if a teenager drinks, for example, which isn't okay, but the family would look past it maybe, and in the future that can lead to pill use and heroin use.
And I think going off of that as well, one of the problems that South Boston does face is that prescription drug use, intergenerational substance use, those are also normalized. So we see that a lot. People just tend to kind of have this attitude about drug use. Well, this is South Boston, this happens, so they may turn a blind eye to something like that.
Tara, what about, you started talking about it a little bit, the culture of drinking, and I have to admit, I go to the South Boston Parade almost every year, and maybe it's more the people from the suburbs sometimes. They come in, they think that, it's hyper-glamorized, really.
It really is. I've grown up in South Boston. I always went to the parade, and drinking was always a part of it. I mean, not for me, but just it was always there and around.
You can't miss it.
Yeah, it's just part of what always has happened, but I think in recent years maybe the parades become cooler, or in the neighborhoods definitely become cooler, so more people are coming in, it's more of a destination. But I think, I don't know, alcoholism exists everywhere, but it's just something that's been accepted, I think, and with the parade, we're trying to curtail that and have kind of more family-friendly events to show that you don't need to drink to have a good time.
Susanna, talk about the new direction here, because there have been groups in the neighborhood, everything from health agencies and substance abuse programs and churches. So what needs to be done differently now?
I think that we're doing a really good job of working together. I think we just need to make people more aware that these services exist. I think it is also hard for people to face substance abuse head on, make it public, come out of their homes and admit that it's a problem. And I'm not sure that's something that we can do, because you can't really force someone to come to a meeting or something like that. But I think that we can just continue working together and make people more aware that our coalitions exist. Because at the meeting at the Tynan School a few weeks ago, there was a voiced opinion that there needs to be some kind of substance abuse prevention task force to bring more people from the community to the table. And these coalitions, these task forces already exist. We represent 2 of them. And we have meetings this week, and so we really just want people to know that they're more than welcome to come and talk to us and voice their opinions about what we can do to take more preventative measures.
So any ideas for things people in the neighborhood can do? And this is a neighborhood where I get the sense that people already do spend a lot of time on community things. They do everything from coaching little league sports to going to times to raise money for people in the neighborhood. So what else is there they can do?
Well, if they join with our efforts, it's, you know, we have proven scientific evidence-based strategies to prevent drug abuse. So coming to our meetings, it kind of gives you, I guess, the foundation to how you can prevent it within however you work. So when your family, if you're a business owner, what you can do. If the police come and they, you know, tell us what's going on with the crime rates and kind of how that relates to drug abuse. So if you just come, you're more informed. You're seeing what all the other members of the neighborhood are doing and be on the same page.
Susanna, what about other things to keep people off the track toward substance abuse? Sometimes it's kids who need more things to do, or maybe it's adults who need to get job training or pointed toward a different direction.
So that's kind of where the Collaborative Center comes in. That's our fiscal agent for the coalition. The Collaborative Center was founded in the late 90s in response to the suicide epidemic in South Boston. And so they house our coalition, but the Collaborative Center, really, we have case managers that help people get on the right track towards seeking recovery. We have social workers on staff that see people that are in recovery, do relapse prevention, that kind of thing. So we really just try to help people stay on the right track and recognize that, you know, you're not a bad person. It's not a moral problem if you have a substance abuse problem. You know, it's an illness. So we really just try to get that kind of word out as well.
Sarah, what about where people go in the weeks ahead on this? Anything planned?
Well, actually, Susanna and I both, we have meetings this week. Our coalitions meet. The CAN Coalition meets on Tuesdays at 1 o'clock at the Neighborhood Health Center in South Boston.
What day of the week?
Tuesdays at 1 o'clock, and that will be tomorrow. And Susanna meets Wednesdays at 6 o'clock.
Yep, 6 p.m. at the same place. So that's at 386 West Broadway, right in South Boston at the Health Center.
And Tara, talk about the kind of people you think who could help in terms of what's expected from them and what kind of, I guess, skills you might be looking for from people.
Oh, skills. We would just like, you know, it's kind of a gap. I feel like there's, Susanna and I are young people, and at my coalition there's a lot of older people. We need like the middle ages. And I think the people new to the community, South Boston's going through gentrification, and there are a lot of 20 to 30-year-olds. And if we had those people involved, I think that would be very helpful. And skills such as my coalition could use website design skills, because we need to have like more of a presence online. A lot of the young people are online. That's what we could use. I don't know, Susanna, what?
I think that we don't regularly have regular community members come to our meetings. It's mostly professionals. So I just think it would be nice to have a mix of different opinions and voices to come to the table. And as Tara mentioned, South Boston is becoming more and more gentrified. A lot of the 20-somethings, 30-somethings that are coming to the neighborhood don't even know that South Boston has a substance abuse problem. And I think that it could just be helpful to bring people from the community to just talk about these things and get the resources out there, because I think that could be of a big help.
Thank you both very much, Susanna Cooper and Tara Doran. We'll have more news in just a moment.